Good morning from an icy cold Tallinn, Estonia. Today we are off on one of my adventures by sea, taking a ferry from here in Tallinn to Helsinki. Brace yourselves for the cold ice of the voyage. With that, welcome to Carl's Travel Channel, where every journey costs less than £200. Please sit back, relax and enjoy the ride. And always remember, the nearest exit may be behind you. We have just come out of the City Box Hotel, located here, as you can see on the map, right near the harbour, and only a short 6-minute walk from the A terminal. And wow, this ice and snow really is spectacular, and certainly not something I'm used to back in London. As you can see, I look a little out of my bearings. Hi everyone, and welcome to a very freezing cold, about -10°C Tallinn. I'm off today to take a ship from here over to Helsinki, the Finlandia of Eckerö Line. So we'll go now and check in and see what it's like. First of all, you must cross the quirky little bridge over here to the A terminal. This is also where Viking Line go from. Viking, Eckerö and Tallinn are the main competitors on this route. Right, so I'm all ready to head through and check in, and hopefully there's no issues and the ferry is running on time, because I have a connection to make the other end. As you can see, they've put the opening times of the terminal here up on the door, should you need to camp inside for a while out of the cold. And in Scandinavia, you must snake through the doors like this from left to right to keep the warm inside the buildings. I was about to check in, and then I spied a cafe for snacks right down there at the end. Well, first of all, I think I'm going to get a bite to eat. I decided to go for a beef wrap, but alas, there were none, so I had to have chicken instead. You can see here the full menu of things available to choose from. Now this cafe has a great window for ferry spotting. I can see just arriving is the My Star, which is Tallinn's offering on the Tallinn to Helsinki route, the main competitors on this journey. Right, I best finish my coffee and get going. And cheers! Just as I finish it off, my ferry for today sneaks into view, the MS Finlandia. She was built in the year 2000 in South Korea as the Moby Freedom, where she sailed on the Mediterranean for a number of years. She can carry just over 2,000 passengers, and also has 2 identical sister ships, one of which I suddenly discover later I've been on before, but more on that in the video. For now, I am taken in by the awe and dramatic sight of her ploughing into the ice and snow at the terminal here in Tallinn. My departure time is now approaching, so I head back past the large array here to the right of Viking Line check-in desks and automated check-in machines. Their ferry on this route is the Viking Express. Though before checking in, I head back outside for one final blast of Estonian air. One other thing I must say before boarding is I must say thank you very much to the viewer who sent me the free ticket or paid for a ticket for the Finlandia today for me to go on. That's very much appreciated. And of course anybody else who wants to send me free tickets to try out different journeys, you're very much welcome to do so, and I may try them out. YouTube pays very little in advertising revenue, so any help is very much offered in supers, likes and subscribers. Right, after 2 full starts, this time it really is time to check in, and here we are at the automated machines for Eckerö Line. However, I decided to use the desk, because I just generally find talking to a person nicer, and the timings there are also up on the screens. Check-in was very nice and fast and easy, and I then find myself right at the front of the queue here, waiting to board. Formalities were very quick and easy, and along with the truck down there, I'm now boarding down the link span to the Finlandia. This is where I always get very excited, boarding a new ferry for the first time. Just as I enter, I spy my name there, up on the door. Spelt with a K, however, instead the Germanic or European way. A nice welcome to the ship. It looks to be advertising some kind of chocolate. Anyhow, a little off track, and welcome on board. The The first thing I notice when I come up into the main bar and entertainment zone is how strikingly similar she looks to the Pascal Lotta. If you go back to my old Corsica Ferries Toulon video, you can compare the differences here between the two. The stage, however, off to the right, rather than being used for an entertainment show, seems to be used as a kids' play area. Now up the very high and impressive stairs, and you can see at the top here is the bar with a list of the drink prices even on there for you to have a look at. Cocktails, soda, or a pink raspberry. Alas, it's closed for now, so I will continue to explore the ship, arriving here first at a large arcade. They do seem to like these in this area of the world. You can see a wide variety of machines. All of this is located here on Deck 8. So here we are up on Deck 8, so I have a little explore to see what there is to do up here. And as you can see from the deck plans, Decks 8 and 9 are where it's all at, with some cabins available on 7 and 6. I don't really know why you would need a cabin on a 2-hour voyage. Oh whoops, and there is me in the mirror. Through here is a window into the tax-free shop, with its opening hours clearly listed there. And this stunning piece of floral self-attention from Eckerö Line. That will make some quite good selfies, I guess. Continuing along this corridor to the right is the currently closed gift store, and to the left there are some very useful chairs and stools at the windows with plugs available. In this area is the ship's absolutely tiny entertainment stage. A classic singer was here for around half of the crossing. Down at the end is the entrance to the buffet Eckerö. The buffet is a huge €36, and given this is only a 2-hour crossing and other eateries available, I don't really see the need to go in there. The bar down this end is called the Bar Nassar, and I didn't see it open for the entire crossing. Let's continue on to the bistro and cafe Satama, and here we are, with incredible floor-to-ceiling windows of the stern of the ship. Right, let's take a pew with a view. Well, I don't think I've ever seen so many bars, bistros and eateries and cafes on one ferry, so it certainly wins on the number of eateries and facilities available on board. This one is the bistro at the stern. It really does have that cool Scandinavian holiday style design.
Captain Randberg and his crew welcome you on board MS Finlandia. Our estimated time of arrival in Helsinki will be at 2:15 p.m. Our restaurants, Eckerö Market and pop-up shop are now open. Please note that due to safety reasons, staying on Cardiff during the voyage is not allowed. We wish you a pleasant journey.
And cheers and welcome aboard the Finlandia. And no, this is not a pint, it's a small beer, just to get me started for the trip. As you can see, the bar has now sprung to life. These large portal windows that you can almost big enough to sit in really are quite cool, and they remind me of the Pascal Lotta. Now let's celebrate our 12 p.m. departure from Tallinn, and we head off towards Helsinki. You can see one of Tallink's 2 ships on the route over there behind, the Victoria 1. I'll have to try her as a comparison in another video in the future.
Emergency, the general alarm signal will ring. 7 short and 1 long signal. At alarm, all passengers shall move to the assembly stations located at deck 6. Press walk. Life jackets for all passengers.
Bar Nosturi is the name of the main onboard bar, and the opening times are up there on the wall. There are gaming machines around it fitted in to every corridor, and just around the corner here to the right is the bar Paka, at least I think that's how it's pronounced, which is a somewhat busy lounge style bar. This all connects back around in a circle to where I came out before, next to the Eckerö Line promotional side. Here is the stairway for the stern area of the outside upper decks for Deck 9, which sadly is closed, presumably due to the cold weather, or maybe it's a refurbishment, I don't know. Let me know if you know in the comments below. Now it doesn't look like there's any outside decks, but maybe we can find one, I'm not sure. Despite that it's minus 10 Celsius outside, I'm going to take the plunge and risk visiting and climbing up to find the sun deck. It's right up here on the top, on Deck 9. And Wow, it certainly does look very icy out there. Baltic almost. Who would have thought? As we emerge onto the freezing cold deck, this immediate area here is used by smokers. Once again, it really does remind me of being on board the Pascal Lotta, the only main difference being in this area in the middle here, there was a swimming pool. Maybe they should have one on here too, for a bit of ice dipping.
Well, I found an outside deck, but unfortunately this looks dangerously slippery, so I'm not going to be venturing out there. And the rear stern part of the ship is also fenced off, presumably for that reason.
So sadly, this is as far as I'm going. Then what looks like an outside cocktail or Aperol spritz stand here.
I don't think I'll be having a cocktail from there in the weather today.
As it says here, be careful, soot may fall from the funnel. Behind here, these stairs are shaped and curved at a funny angle. I've not seen that on a ferry before. Are they ever open to the public, or where do they go? Let me know in the comments below. The captain's bridge there at the end. I think, to be honest, today, rather than stay outside, I'd rather sit back here in the warmth of the bar and atrium area and watch the ice flow by from the comfort of warm surroundings behind glass. It really is quite atmospheric and mesmerising, though it does remind me a little of a ship that had a maiden voyage in 1912. Whilst we enjoy the views of the ice, a little recap here again for the major competitors on the Tallinn to Helsinki route. First of all, there's Eckerö Line, the Finlandia, which we are on board today. There's also then the Tallinn, which operate their MyStar, Megastar and Victoria 1 ships. They're really the main major players on this route. And finally the Viking Line, with the Viking Express. You can of course mix and match operators, journey times and fares for each direction. As most people on this route do not have cabins, they offer these luggage storage lockers, for a price of course. You can keep your old bag in here and pay a fee just on the door there. Continuing through to the Barnosturi, spelt wrong on that door. Situated over here are two Superbikes machines. These are exactly the same as those I saw on the Baltic Queen from Tallinn to Stockholm. Just around the corner here is another large array of various different machines, all containing different electronic games for you to try out. Right, rather than spending all of our time on deck 8, let's go down the stairs and see what some of the other passenger accessible areas have to offer. Firstly, here on deck 7 are the cabins. But alas, being a 2-hour cruise, I didn't pay for one, so I can't show you inside. I then continue to go down even further to explore the other decks. I make it down here to the lowest of them, deck 6, and this right here is the entrance plaza to where I came on the ferry earlier on. As you can see, it doesn't really look that grand for an entrance hall. The colour of the teak wood kind of has a 1980s feel to it. Down here is the ship's main supermarket. And another overview of our deck plans to show you its location. As you can see, the supermarket and perfume area does take up quite a lot of space. Some adverts for some of the various offers you can find there on the wall. And it's so large, there are even shopping trolleys inside, something you never see on a ferry in the UK. The opening hours are on here also. Sadly, I don't think filming is permitted inside. One thing, however, that's really caught my attention on this journey is the fantastic sea ice that we're crunching our way through on the voyage. It's my first time experiencing such ice on any ferry trip. Whilst we are journeying our way through the beauty of this, a little bit more information on fares and timetables. In regards to timings, on the majority of dates I checked, this is the sailing schedule. The 6 AM does not appear to operate on Sundays. The ticket price at time of booking for this sailing was €28. However, I've seen sailings as low as €20 on quite a few dates. But very important, since you may be watching this video in the future, double check the latest times and fares on the Eckerö Line website. A final word of note, this video is not sponsored by or affiliated with Eckerö Line in whatsoever, and it's just based on my own opinion. Oh, I can't get enough of that ice, it really is mesmerising. In the distance you can spot some of the archipelago of islands on the outskirts of Helsinki Harbour as we draw closer. And then pulling into the harbour itself, wow, it really is impressive. It looks like it's consumed and filled with a large, huge ice flow. It really does amaze me how the ferries are still able to navigate into here through this. Returning to the stern bar, I really do love this carpet. It's now emptying out as we pull into the port of Helsinki. Let's have a little spy through the window here at her arrival, and as you can see, the port itself is a vast complex with many different link span bridges linking up to the various different berths. At least it's very accessibility friendly. There is even a random WC down there in a little steel hut.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Helsinki. This embarkation begins in 10 minutes via deck 6. Drivers are kindly requested to go to the car deck, where you are kindly asked not to start your vehicle until permission is given. MS Finlandia's whole crew thank you for travelling with us and welcome you back on board again.
Just as the link span for alighting passengers pulls into view. And as we were docking, the food in the cafeteria was reduced to 30% off, so I managed to pick up this baguette for only around €3. There is also an upstairs deck or level to this restaurant too, which sadly was closed off for the entire sailing.
Well, we're just arriving in Helsinki, and that was really a fantastic voyage. I actually quite enjoyed it, and it was only around 2 hours, quite a short crossing really. So now, anyway, I've got to head from here and catch the tram and over to my second ferry for the day, Gabriella. But you won't be seeing that in this video, sadly. It will be in the next episode. So please stay tuned. Remember to like and subscribe to see it.
I am now apprehensive on my phone, busy planning my journey of where I shall go when I get off the ship, which is quite a bit further than I had originally expected.
And over there looks like it's a hub for the trams, because from here I need to catch the number 7 tram all the way across the middle of Helsinki over to the other ferry terminal.
Before I depart, however, let's do one final walkthrough of the facility's deck 8, so you can see what it's like now with no passengers. The stalls with PowerPoints and views over the ice are located here to the right.
And a walk here back past the gift store and one of the bars now it's quiet.
A close-up here to show you the types of power outlets provided. That ice in Helsinki on arrival really does look amazing. Back here to the promotional Eckerö Line wall to celebrate what has been for me a very enjoyable voyage. We're not quite done yet, however, more to see towards the bow. This is one of the cafeterias, and the location of the only entertainment there behind that blue wall I could find on the ship. The now shuttered up bar down here at the end is the only one that's open on this crossing to serve the entertainment zone. One final view here of the arcade, or VIP lounge as they call it, for those who fancy themselves as very important people. I continue around past the various bar entrances, and down at the end here there's an advert for paninis on board. There's a lot of good value food, so no need to rely on the buffet. The now empty bar packer, without the customers inside, you get a better view in there to see how it is. But sadly, all good things must come to an end, and it's time to depart the ship. Also down a nice easy link span here, all flat. Escalators and lifts are provided at the end to go down the stairs. You can see here Helsinki's modern, futuristic ferry terminal building. So well, what did I think of the crossing? Overall, excellent and enjoyable. Decent priced food and drinks on board, and very efficient service with loading and unloading the ship, and a great schedule. I then had to leg it in a hurry to make my connection for the tram, which is here on line number 7. Sadly I couldn't film that as it was a mad dash and the tram was about to leave. Fortunately, you do not need to purchase a ticket beforehand. There is a little machine on the tram where you simply just press which zones you would like. So here is zones A and B. Tap the reader and it charges you the €3.50 for the journey. And why am I dashing so fast across Helsinki? Well, I only have about 2 hours to make it to my next sailing aboard the Viking Line to Stockholm for an overnight cruise. Will I make it? How will it go? You'll have to find out on the next episode. With that, thank you for watching Carl's Travel Channel. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you of course on the next one.